Hello, this is Running Robert, and today we're going to be talking about the Geron, GERN, fourth quarter summary and pre-Adcom summary. Today is the 4th of March, 2024. In this summary, we're going to be looking at the quarterly report very briefly, and then we're going to go into Adcom information. So if you have never been part of an Adcom or you want timelines or stuff like that, this is a good video for you. So I generally follow small cap pharma. I do some games. I do a little bit of everything. So if you like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. And thank you. I have so many options. So I have calls for March and June, puts for March. Okay. I'm an amateur investor, and any advice given should be followed up by your own due diligence, and any information given is valid for today, the 4th of March, and the slideshow will not be updated. However, I will give a post-Adcom summary and probably a pre- and post-PDUFA summary. So this flow of the presentation. I'm going to go over the quarterly update really quickly. I'm going to go over the timeline for the Adcom, and then I'm going to go over my Adcom thoughts. So the quarterly report, very simple. The company has $378 million in cash. The company expects cash to go to the third quarter of 2025. The Adcom is the 14th of March, and the PDUFA is the 16th of June. Okay, that's pretty much all we had from the quarterly update. So let's look at the timeline. So 3 days before the Adcom, the FDA will publish their briefing documents, and this is going to cause a lot of movement on that Monday, 11th of March, 2024. So the briefing documents is where the FDA will establish its position on whether this drug should be approved or not approved, or the hazards for it. This is always 3 days before, and this makes it pretty easy because Thursday, 3 days before, is Monday. So that is going to cause a lot of movement, and you will get your first taste of what might happen at that. So GERN will halt either sometime on the 13th of March in post-market or early in pre-market on the 14th of March. There is a 100% chance this will be halted on the Adcom on the 14th. So please don't come on the mess board to be like, is it halted? Is it halted? Like, yes, it will be. It will be until the vote is over. So you will not be able to trade the stock in normal market hours on the 14th of March. Okay. So on the 14th, the Adcom will start. We'll generally go all day, ending in a vote around 4 p.m. So what will happen is the FDA and the company will give their presentations to the group. There will be an open forum for the public, and then there will be a vote. So obviously, if the FDA is in support of it, you're going to see a lot of support, and then the company obviously is going to be in supporting of it. And then open forum for the public is generally what it sounds like. It doesn't add a lot of value, but a lot of people get a chance to speak. And then they will vote. And the big question they will vote on, of course, should we approve this drug? And that's what we're going to get. So the stock will open back up either post-market on the 14th of March or early on the 15th of March. And I've never seen this halted for a full day after the Adcom, which is why I have those options for 15 March. Again, we've definitely had some times where it's like 7 or 8 and they haven't opened up on that next day, but I've never seen them not be open during normal market hours the day following an Adcom. So who is going to vote? So the FDA will assemble a group of highly knowledgeable doctors with particular experience with MDS and with a minimal conflict of interest. There also can be an outsider or some kind of patient services type person who will not be a doctor, but will have a say, based on trying to support the patients. There also might be people who have considerable knowledge but have major conflicts of interest. They will be non-voting members, but they will still be able to ask questions and state what they're doing. And so that is going to be a group. So the only member currently that is posted does work for a competitor, or he is helping run a trial run, because unfortunately, most of the time in this, when you do Adcoms and you're bringing in the highly knowledgeable people, they have run some kind of trial for a competitor or a company or something like that. So it is common. So, but yeah, we do not know anyone else at the moment. So the Adcom thoughts. The data is solid. The drug worked. There is absolutely we're not meeting this Adcom because of if the drug works or not. I think if you look at the data, it is 100% clear the drug definitely works. But the questions can always be brought up mainly related to safety and discontinuation rates for adverse events. So, and it is up there. And even though most of the safety events were minimal, it's still something that was enough in a general, outside of a trial, it could become an issue. However, since this is a second or later line treatment for patients, or for patients that don't have other options, this should definitely weigh positively for GERN. Obviously, it's very hard to be like, I'm not going to give you this drug if you have nothing else to take. I am definitely unsure what the FDA briefing documents will say, as the FDA did not make this a priority review, but decided to have an AdCom. So again, there is an unmet need for patients who do not respond to any of the current treatments. That would make something in the level of a priority review. But they didn't. But they decided to have an AdCom. So if they were just going to immediately vote against it, we wouldn't be doing this. So again, it makes it very tricky, and it's definitely something to watch for on the 11th of March as we'll get a general idea of how it's going. And of course, I would not be surprised if Big Pharma tries to weigh the board a little bit. As me following enough AdComs in my life, you notice the people who are like, for whatever reason, they are irrationally against a drug. We saw that with Ardelyx. I've seen that in several others. I've seen patient services people definitely probably being paid by a big pharma competitor for it. So obviously this is a second line treatment, and for treatments with people who don't have options. So it shouldn't be weighed that heavily. So I think we should have a fairly clean AdCom, but of course we're always gonna be watching out for those people, and you'll know them at the end, who are like, they just don't want to listen to anything positive and are just, rah. The biggest problem is those people will try to influence the other people around them. So post AdCom, of course, the stock will go the way of the vote. If it's significantly positive or significantly negative, it will make that kind of impact. I have puts in place in case it is negative, and that's really going to cover all my calls. So again, I am trying to free roll this, so I do have both $2 puts, $2.50 calls. The company might take an opportunity to raise cash afterwards, since the PDUFA brings its own risk. If approved, black box warnings, REMS, something else which could limit its commercial value. So of course, I have my calls in place in case it's positive, which is going to be a lot of movement on that Friday. That Friday is going to be a very fun day because it's an option day. I think it's like the triple witching day. It's everything. It's going to be a wild ride. So the FDA generally follows the AdCom. So obviously in the cases where it's like 0 to 12 or 12 to 0, and I just use 12 as a general number, they generally follow it. Obviously if it's a closer vote, a 7 to 5 or something, 6 to 6, then you kind of get you get movement. So, but they generally do follow it. I think it's like they don't follow them 20% of the time, which I think goes a lot less if it is a very one-sided vote. So there's also definitely a decent amount of short interest in GERN, which means that we might see a fair amount of shenanigans with the shorts trying to control the stock. Obviously they are looking at the same information we are, and probably looking at the same side like, I don't know if I want to keep shorting this, but I want to get out of my position with money. So it's going to be a wild ride. The whole week before is going to be a wild ride. So, and I believe I positioned myself nicely. With any one-sided vote, I will make money. However, I am more weighted on the call side because I believe the AdCom will be positive. And hopefully you got that indication from what I said. Obviously there are safety concerns, but I think the drug outweighs all of those. So yep. So hopefully listening to my rambling gave you enough information to be prepared for what is going to be a fun 2 weeks. And good luck. I hope you make some money. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.